The Soy Luciano Greenpickles 987 Cold War is an ongoing internet feud between YouTube user Greenpickles987 and online figure Soy Luciano. The conflict began in August 2022 following accusations connected to the so-called Lucia server raid, and has since escalated across multiple online platforms. Characterized by recurring accusations, bans, and public hostility, the feud has consistently targeted Greenpickles987, exposing him to sustained online hate. The feud originated on August 14, 2022, when Greenpickles987 posted a clip of Shizuka saying, "Ah." The following day, Soy Luciano accused him of participating in the Lucia server raid, orchestrated by user GumballGDTV. Despite Greenpickles987's denials, Luciano publicly reinforced the claim, initiating a cycle of mistrust and hostility. Luciano left a comment directed at D. Lutsalvaro, writing, "Lo que fue era Greenpickles987. Greenpickles987 promptly corrected him, clarifying that the true culprit was GumballGDTV. On August 20th, Luciano privately messaged Greenpickles987 on Discord, writing, "Porque, pedazo de," and attaching a video of Nobita swearing in Spanish. On November 6, 2022, Luciano escalated the situation further on Vidly by posting the video El Gato Comico vsi Shittygraph, which ended with the quote, "Recuerdos de Greenpickles987, directly mocking and referencing him. From these moments, a cycle of mistrust and hostility took hold. The digital crowd turned hostile, and Greenpickles987 became the target of a relentless online campaign. Greenpickles987 made a comment, just a few words typed into a box, and Soy Luciano saw them. He did not see a fellow creator, he saw a threat. This was the first stone cast. Greenpickles987 was confused. He had not meant any harm. But the narrative had already been set. Greenpickles987 felt the ground shift beneath his feet. He was suddenly an outsider. He was viewed with suspicion. His version of the story traveled faster and further. The misunderstanding was no longer a misunderstanding. It had become a fact. The initial accusation created a crack in the community's foundation. Trust began to erode almost immediately. He tried to explain. He tried to clarify his intentions. Soy Luciano, with his larger platform, had the louder voice. But it landed with the force of a judgment. The label stuck. The first blow was a ban. Greenpickles987 found himself locked out. The digital space where the community gathered was now closed to him. It was a public shaming. A clear message was sent to everyone else. The fight spilled over into other platforms. On the community wiki, Greenpickles987 was targeted again. Each ban was another wall going up, isolating him further. It felt coordinated. It felt relentless. Hostile comments began to appear wherever he went online. They were echoes of the original accusation. The story was being repeated. It was being amplified. It became a chorus of disapproval, all directed at him. Public posts were made. They laid out the case against Greenpickles987. Screenshots were shared, quotes were taken out of context. They painted him as a troublemaker, a leech. He was trapped in a story that he did not write. This cycle of accusation and punishment became a vortex. Greenpickles987 would try to defend himself, but his attempts were seen as further aggression. The feud had developed its own terrible momentum. It was no longer about a single comment, it was about winning. It was about total defeat. For Greenpickles987, this was not just a game, it was not just online drama. It was his life. The people there can feel like real friends, and the shaming can feel very, very real. He felt a profound sense of isolation. The digital doors were slammed shut. The feeling was heavy. It was a constant weight. He would wake up and the feeling would be there. The hate was not general. It was specific. It was targeted. Messages would arrive in his inbox. They were filled with venom. People who he had never met felt entitled to attack him. The digital world had become a minefield. He started to dread looking at his phone. The screen became a source of anxiety. He felt powerless. He was one person against a crowd. The narrative was controlled by someone with more influence. He felt like he was shouting into a hurricane. His words were just swept away. The stress began to take a toll. It affected his mood. It affected his desire to create. His small YouTube channel now felt tainted. The public shaming was a form of digital punishment. The human cost was immense. The internet had shown him its darkest side. Then something strange happened. Soy Luciano was hacked, his online accounts were compromised, his digital kingdom was breached by an unknown attacker. Suddenly, the aggressor became a victim. The news spread quickly through the community. It was a shocking development. The constant barrage of hostility came to an abrupt halt. For a brief period, there was silence. It was as if a switch had been flipped. The focus of the community shifted entirely. Soy Luciano was busy trying to regain control of his accounts. This pause gave Greenpickles987 a moment to breathe. The relentless pressure was gone. He could go online without bracing for an attack. The world felt a little bit lighter. The storm had passed, or so it seemed. The hacking incident served as a reset button, but only a temporary one. One day, you are the king of the castle. The next, you are locked outside the gates. For Greenpickles987, it was a moment of quiet reflection. He saw how the online mob could turn its attention in an instant. The silence was peaceful, but it was a fragile peace. The underlying conflict had not been resolved, it was just dormant. The peace did not last. By 2024, the feud was back. The old wounds had not healed. They had only scabbed over. Soy Luciano, having recovered his accounts, seemed to remember his old grievance. The truce, which had never been officially declared, was officially over. The new conflict took on new forms. It was not just a repeat of the past. This time the accusations were different. They were more personal. They were more insidious. And the ban started again. Greenpickles987 found himself banned from new platforms, new communities. Even in spaces where he had found refuge, the influence of the old feud followed him. It was like a shadow he could not shake. His online identity was permanently linked to this conflict. He was the guy who had a feud with Soy Luciano. The reputational damage was long-lasting. Even after Greenpickles987 took steps to distance himself, he removed all references to the community and to Soy Luciano from his own content. He tried to move on, but it was not enough. The story had taken on a life of its own. People who were new to the community would hear the old stories. The shaming had a long half-life. He was fighting a battle that he could never truly win. Winning, for the other side, was about his complete surrender. This story is more than just a fight between two people. It is a lesson. It is a cautionary tale about the nature of the internet. It shows how a small disagreement can spiral into something huge and destructive. A single comment, misunderstood, amplified, can ruin a person's reputation. The feud demonstrates the power imbalance that often exists online. A person with a larger following has a louder voice. They can control the narrative. They can turn a community against an individual. This is a dangerous power. The mob is quick to form, and it is slow to question the person who is pointing the finger. Justice is rarely part of the equation. The stain does not just wash away. For Greenpickles987, the feud became part of his digital identity. Even when he tried to move on, the past was always there, just one search away. It was a deep wound that left a scar. It changed how he interacted with the online world. Perhaps it is to be more careful with our words, to be more generous in our interpretations, to remember that there is a human being on the other side of the screen, a person with feelings, a person whose life can be affected by the stories we tell about them. This feud is a stark reminder that online conflicts have real-world consequences. They are moments that can define and damage a person's life in ways that are hard to see, but are felt very deeply.